D-Day 1944. The long-awaited invasion of Europe is underway. Years of planning, deception, and training are about to be put to the ultimate test. On the night of June 5th, paratroopers of the 101st Airborne prepared for one of the most dangerous missions of the war. Their task was to drop behind German lines, seize the causeways leading from Utah Beach, capture key bridges, and block enemy reinforcements. General Eisenhower knew the risks. He feared that the division might be scattered, surrounded, and destroyed before dawn. Failure could mean disaster, not only for the airborne, but for the entire invasion. The paratroopers understood the stakes, and they were determined to accomplish their mission, to begin what Eisenhower himself called the Great Crusade against tyranny. Join me as we follow the path of the 101st Airborne Division in 1944, from D-Day to the crossroads town of Carentan, and take a closer look at one of their most well-known engagements, the Battle of Bloody Gulch, portrayed in HBO's Band of Brothers, a pivotal battle that secured Carentan and united the Allied front in Normandy. In the early hours of June 6th, more than 13,000 paratroopers of the 101st and 82nd Airborne Divisions boarded nearly 900 C-47 Skytrains for the flight across the channel. They were the first wave of an airborne assault designed to secure the network of approaches to Utah and Omaha beaches. Following them, hundreds of gliders would deliver jeeps, artillery, and anti-tank guns to reinforce the drop zones. The division's objectives were clear: seize the causeway exits off the beaches, capture and hold key bridges, and block German reinforcements from moving toward the coast. For the 101st Airborne, the mission centered on Utah Beach. Their orders were to seize the 4 causeway exits that crossed the flooded lowlands behind the beach, capture bridges over the Douve River to secure an eastern flank, and demolish crossings to the west to block German counterattacks. Each regiment had its sector. The 502nd, tasked with Causeway 3 and 4, the 506th with Causeway 2, and the road network south of the beach, and the 327th Glider Infantry with securing artillery positions once the gliders arrived. German resistance on June 6th was mixed. Many coastal strongpoints were caught off guard and quickly overrun, while others fought with determination and inflicted heavy losses. Inland, the response was scattered and unpredictable. Local counterattacks by the 91st Division and Fallschirmjäger units were aggressive, but confusion, poor communication, and Allied air power prevented the Germans from mounting a coordinated defense. The result was a patchwork of strong resistance in some areas and collapse in others. With the beach landings complete, fighting for the roads, bridges, and strongpoints of Normandy continued day and night. The Airborne had been in combat almost continuously since June 6th, holding causeways, repelling counterattacks, and pushing through the hedgerows. For the 101st, each engagement brought them closer to their next major objective, the crossroads town of Carentan, the link between Utah and Omaha beaches. On June 11th, the 101st Airborne closed in on Carentan and began their assault. The approach into town was dominated by a single causeway, later nicknamed Purple Heart Lane. Lined with hedgerows and swept by German machine guns, progress was slow and costly, with every field and ditch contested. By the following morning, the paratroopers renewed their attack with artillery support and fought house to house through the streets. By nightfall on June 12th, Carentan was in American hands. This, however, didn't mean that the paratroopers' job was finished. On the evening of June 12th, the 101st pushed into the hedgerows to expand their perimeter. To examine the battle in detail, we'll reference a map drawn by Lieutenant Ronald Spears, then a platoon leader in Dog Company of the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment. His sketch shows the American position south of Carentan on the night of June 12th and how the lines shifted as the Germans' counterattack unfolded the next morning. Elements of the 501st and 506th Parachute Infantry Regiments pushed beyond Carentan, moving south and southwest. Their orders were to expand the defensive perimeter. But just past the farmhouse on the high ground, they made contact with German forces regrouping in the hedgerows. Under heavy fire, the paratroopers fell back to stronger positions along the hedgerows closer to Carentan. The Germans pressed forward, stopping just outside the new American line. By nightfall, this hedgerow line became the 101st's final defensive position, the ground they would fight to hold at Bloody Gulch. The German force consisted of the 6th Fallschirmjäger Regiment, reinforced by the 37th SS Panzer Grenadiers of the 17th SS Division, with tanks and assault guns from Panzerlehr in support. Throughout the night of June 12th, German patrols probed the American lines south of Carentan, and firefights erupted in the hedgerows. In places where ammunition ran low, bayonets were used in brutal close-quarters combat. Fearing a coordinated German assault, General Maxwell Taylor ordered the paratroopers to strike at dawn. The following reenactment depicts the morning of June 13th as the paratroopers of the 101st prepared to advance, unaware a German counterattack was already forming.
All right, listen up. We step off in squads. Keep your spacing tight and stay low in the hedgerows. Eyes open and be ready for contact. I want first squad on the...
Get down!
Holy shit! Hush up! Anyone see anything?
Who's got eyes on?
Meter! Nachladen! Schnell, schnell!
You're with me!
You gonna get me killed, Lieutenant?
Don't fire until I tell you! Now! Get back to the line!
Evans!
Billy's hit!
Shift the M2! Cover the crest of that hill!
Keep it up! Keep firing!
Carentan was the key to Normandy. For the Allies, capturing it meant uniting the Utah and Omaha beachheads and securing the road inland. For the Germans, retaking it was vital to split the American front, delaying or even halting the invasion altogether. Losing Carentan was unacceptable to either side. The initial shock of the German assault was overwhelming. Dog and Fox companies were forced to fall back under heavy fire. The move, though tactically sound, exposed Easy Company on two fronts. Battalion Commander Lieutenant Colonel Robert Strayer quickly relieved Captain Thomas Mulvey of Fox Company and ordered the paratroopers to reestablish their line. Easy Company held firm under relentless pressure. As Major Dick Winters later recalled, "We were hanging on by our fingernails."
What the hell was that?
Hello, 2nd Armored. Yeah.
Let's go! Let's push them back! Everything you got! They're pulling back! Pour it on!
Come on!
Come on, get after him. Let's go. That's it, they've had enough!
By mid-afternoon, the situation south of Carentan was critical. The 101st had held its ground, but the line was beginning to buckle, and casualties were mounting. In the battle's decisive moment, reinforcements from the U.S. 2nd Armored Division, supported by the 29th Infantry, advanced from Carentan and struck the German flank with devastating firepower. The counterattack collapsed, and the enemy withdrew in disorder. The Battle of Bloody Gulch was over. Carentan was secure. The Battle of Bloody Gulch marked the end of the fight for Carentan, but not the end of the war for the 101st Airborne. In the weeks that followed, the division was pulled back to England to refit and recover, only to return to combat in Operation Market Garden. Months later, they would be called upon again, this time to hold the line at Bastogne during the Battle of the Bulge. It is here that they earned their nickname, the Battered Bastards of Bastogne. Surrounded, outnumbered, and freezing, they refused to yield. From Normandy to Holland to the Ardennes, the 101st earned a reputation as one of the finest fighting units of the war. By 1945, the Screaming Eagles had pushed deep into Germany and stood at Hitler's Eagle's Nest. The war in Europe was nearly over, and their legacy was forever written in history.
With a man of the 100th